Oh, now this is interesting. We get to hear this guy and his new amplifier. He starts off making a sound that is appears to be a very old sound, and then he links the sound. He links the inputs of the amplifier, and the sound becomes made up of two different amplifiers, and you can hear it's doubled. When he plays one note, the amplifier doubles the notes, and the sound becomes unfamiliar to everyone. It's not a sound that anyone is familiar with. It's not famous. And it warms up the sound and loses all of the bass, and it becomes this warm sound. And you think, what the hell's going on? Yeah, he gets this antique sound, and then he links the inputs, and then he loses the antique sound, and then it becomes unfamiliar to everyone. And it's a sound that doesn't seem very old at all. But he's convinced that he's got more bottom end somehow. Probably seems like it's coming out louder. He's lost all the tone.
As opposed to other people, and it's very different. And I've also had 5 or 6, I'll call them numpties on there, criticising my age. Yeah, they do that sort of thing. Oh, do it in reverse maybe. Well, when they snowflakes like that, that's what they do, isn't it? Anyway, enough of that for now. Here's the play.
Yeah, I'm sick of all these young Gen Y people saying stuff like I'm a beginner all the time on their channels. I'd much rather listen to you because you're wiser and older than me, and I like listening to wiser, older people because you learn stuff. But if you listen to young people, you're always treated as if you're a beginner, like they are. They pull rank on you, and they think that you don't know anything.
Okay, well, here are some chords, just run-of-the-mill everyday stuff, and everything's set at 12 except for the high treble, which is about, well, number 1 on this amp, and it's running on 5 watts.
Even though he's got the latest pickups, that sound seems really ancient to me. It seems like it predates the 1960s. Seems to be very bassy and very trebly. He's probably only just turned the amplifier on. After a few hours of leaving the amplifier on, it'll lose a lot of that bassy and trebly peaks in the sound, and it will turn into a warm, mid-rangey amplifier. But it'll have a really antique sound.
So I guess, yeah, you heard the differences there. It's very nice and, well, puts a bit of bottom back into the amp, because this amp here, it's a bit toppy. It's like all of these early ones, whether it be the 1959 and the rest of them. This is a bit toppy too.
After you leave it warm up and stabilize the voltage after a few hours, it actually will lose all of that toppiness and what I call brightness in the upper tones. So all you have to do is leave the amp on for a while and not play it when it's early in its warming up phase. And being a new amplifier, it's going to take a month to lose all of that stuff and to take up the warm sound that Marshall is known for.
But do bear in mind that we haven't got the link between the two channels yet. So what I think I'll do is I'll do that now and then level them up a bit.
A big mistake, because at the moment it's just a warming up a new amp problem. It's not a it's not actually a problem. You just have to judge the amplifier after a couple of years of playing and not worrying about it. Just play it. You know, we've come across these instant regret problems before with lots of YouTube video makers.
So we get a different style of tone. But actually, I think just before I do that, I'll put a Strat on here and you can hear what a Strat sounds like. Okay, well here...
Well, if you put in a Strat, then you actually have to change the cable to a genuine Fender cable, and not all genuine Fender cables will work with a Marshall amplifier. So you actually have to buy the official Fender cable that works with Marshall amplifiers, and that is the Jimi Hendrix cable. That is the correct cable for converting the unique signal that comes out of the Fender Stratocaster controls to allow it to be able to be used in a Marshall amplifier. So this is your first mistake, as you didn't swap out the cable for the official Fender cable.
My 2008 Strat, it's been messed around with a bit, but the pickups are actually the noiseless pickups, if I remember right on this, because I never changed them. They just
Well, they should have noiseless engraved on the pickups there, but you probably stuffed it around. And this yellowing looks really weird. But yeah, we can see you didn't change the cable for a genuine Fender cable. So if you don't follow the brands, if you're not loyal to what the brands offer you, then you're going to get completely the wrong life. You'll have ruined your own life.
Like ordinary pickup. So here's an example, just a few chords. Doesn't really matter, does it? Nothing's changed on the amp, by the way.
See, we can clearly hear there's a doubling going on. When he plays one note, there's a double note comes out the speakers. And then he's lost all the bass tones. He's got some kind of a weird mid-rangey sound that doesn't remind you of anything. It doesn't seem antique. It doesn't seem from the 80s. It doesn't seem from the 90s. It just seems like a weird sound that nobody's familiar with. And why would you buy an expensive amplifier to get a mystery sound that doesn't sound like it came from any era? See the double notes in that chord? It's just linking amplifiers really does create a double note where a double note is not supposed to be happening. We need to point this out to you guys that linking is doing you harm. Linking is creating a whole nother sound that isn't the famous sound, and it's not the antique sound that you bought the amplifier for. The whole point of buying this old style amplifier is to get all the modern skill from the amp builder, but get a sound that is famous or close to a particular era. But if you keep putting pedals in front of it, then you've wasted your time buying all these antique style things at a very high price. There are other products that do the job much better than what you're doing with this amplifier. If you're linking a Marshall, then you should have bought a Park amplifier or something else. And if you're buying a vintage amplifier to put pedals in front of it, then you may as well have bought some other modern amplifier from some other brand.